Magyar szólások és közmondások angolul beszélőknek.
Hungarian sayings and proverbs for English speakers. Angry pigs.
Mindent orrára vesz, mint a disznó.
First word is or. A nose. We covered this in parts of the head in bold cats. But let's combine that with what we learnt about possessives in wine and medicine. Add an A and you have his, her or its nose. Then add movement towards that we saw on sitting on a horse. We get moving onto his or her nose. We're starting to make a bit of progress with this language, aren't we? Next we take some vocab from Blind Hens, where we looked at various farmyard animals. Here we have disznó, which is a pig. We've got another couple of words in there though. Mindent, that's minden plus a T for the accusative, all. Vesz, in this case, means take. And mint, we've seen before, is like. So word by word, everything knows his onto he takes, like the pig. Basically, he takes everything on the nose. That is, he is an angry, petulant person. In New Zealand, we have a wild pig known as the Captain Cooker, named after Captain Cook, who in 1769 liberated some as a food source. New Zealand had no land mammals. Over the years, more pigs were liberated by various people from a mix of domestic English breeds and have since gone feral, and are quite a problem in New Zealand. They damage pastures and crops, kill lambs and destroy the habitats of native species. The Captain Cooker, or razorback as it's also known, is now smaller than domestic breeds, but rather ferocious. Stands at 1 metre tall, 1.8 metres long and up to about 215 kilo. But those tusks. They are legal to hunt. In fact, not only is hunting encouraged, but sometimes culls are organised. But it's dangerous. And some people still hunt with only dogs and a knife. Another wild pig is the Kunekune, which is believed to be a cross between Polish and Chinese pigs, and may have been introduced by American sealers. It's now often domesticated and kept as a pet. It's smaller than the Captain Cooker, and cute, just 60 centimetres high and 1.2 metres long, but again it can weigh 60 to 200 kilos. We're going to have a look at temperament. We're going to start with bad temperament. This taking it on the nose thing. Dühös, angry. There are several words for angry in Hungarian. We're going to look at a couple of them. There's also harangos and mérges. Mérges is a wee bit informal. Its initial meaning is poisonous, but it can also mean angry. And one of my favourite ones, easily taking offence. That "-ane" suffix is quite common to mean easy to do something. You'll see quite a few words like that. Let's look a bit more positive. What about if somebody is calm? If you're relaxed, nyugodt. If you're patient, türelmes. And if you're forgiving, megbocsájtó. A person who has all these characteristics, you might say it's kedves, is a nice person, is a pleasant person. I want to look at vesz in the vocab because it's a very common verb and it actually has quite a few meanings. I'm going to look at some of the common ones. It can mean to take or pick up, as put it in your hand and take it. Or it can mean take as in get, receive. And that receive even will go as far as receiving a radio station. It can also mean to buy or purchase. Maybe not as obvious, it can mean put on, as in put on a coat. And it can also mean to consider or accept. Now remember that vesz is the third person singular and indefinite present. He, she, or it takes, picks up, gets, receives, buys, purchases, puts on, considers, accepts. The infinitive for vesz is venni. Let's look at how we can inflect vesz to express other forms of the verb, because we don't just say he gets or she gets. We're going to start with the indefinite conjugation. It's the simplest one. I get, you get, he gets, we get, you plural gets, they get. So this is, when you learn a verb in Hungarian, this is the normal way to do it. You learn the 6 forms. And the pattern is similar no matter what the verb is. There's one more. Veszlek, I receive you. So this is that last one is used from the first person, and the object is the second person. If we have an indefinite conjugation, you can bet your boots that we have a definite conjugation. The definite conjugation is used where we have an accusative object, and that object is definite. So it has a the or at, or it's possessive. And it's slightly different. We have different endings, an M, a D, an I. Obviously we do not have the first person, second person, because second person is always indefinite. So those are your common present tenses, your normal present tenses. Veszek would be used for something like I got a gift, whereas veszem would be something like I got your gift. Let's have a look at the past. We've hinted at this before. I'm going to do this very briefly. We have an indefinite conjugation. It's the same. You'll see the key for the past is that T. So the SZ is gone. In most verbs, the T is in addition. But in this case, vesz is one of the irregular verbs, and it gets dropped completely. So we have the T to show it's the past, and similar but different endings. For the definite conjugation, same thing, we have the T. One thing to notice is both the indefinite and definite conjugation for first person singular is the same, vettem. I want to also briefly look at the imperative or subjunctive. We saw this in Cabbages and Kings. I'm not going to go into it in any detail, but it can be used either for the imperative or the subjunctive. And in Hungarian, the imperative and subjunctive is used a lot. It's not just used for orders or for subjunctive constructions. We have this one conjunction which is used for imperatives, subjunctive, and a whole lot of other things. It's the same form. So it is actually used quite a bit. You'll probably use this conjugation more often than you'd say you'd use the past. You'll see here we've gone to the GY. So instead of vesz for the present, vet for the past, veg for the imperative. You can't guess this, you just have to learn this one. So that's the 6 most common conjunctions. There are another 7. I'll leave those for another day.
Mindent orrára vesz, mint a disznó.
He takes everything on the nose. He's really easily offended. I hope you're not easily offended, because I tend to speak my mind. I will say things like, if this video was useful, hey, leave me a like, leave me a comment. Let me know of some sayings that you might want me to cover in the future. That keeps the playlist growing. Until then, vesz laat.